So Wendy Williams' manager Will Selby is speaking out after Kevin Hunter Jr.'s exclusive interview with The Sun, where he slammed the team that has been surrounding her and pushing her to work when she clearly should not be. Well, Will is denying those allegations and now confirming that Wendy Williams is in a treatment facility currently. Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. So it was just yesterday that we reported to you that Kevin Hunter Jr. broke his silence for the very first time in an exclusive interview with The Sun talking about his mom, Wendy Williams. In that interview, he talked at length on his thoughts when it comes to Wendy's new team. He claims that when she was with him in Florida and he was taking care of her, you didn't see all of these crazy pictures of her on social media or in blogs. He also says that he doesn't trust the team that's around her. He talked about how he was offered $25,000 to be in this sort of unscripted show that they were working on. And he says that his mom is in no position to be working right now. That when she drinks alcohol, it stays in her system a lot longer than anyone else. He also slammed the financial guardian that is over Wendy Williams' $1 million estate, saying that he believes that she has some sort of tie to Will Selby, Wendy's new manager. So Will, of course, is speaking out because everyone has been talking about this interview and is claiming that he has no control over Wendy Williams' guardianship. He says that guardianship, anything that they do has to be approved by this guardianship. This is the first time that I've been hearing that this has been referred to as a guardianship versus being a financial guardianship. And I know a lot of you that have worked in the field or are familiar. I know even Emily D. Baker said that basically this guardianship, this financial guardianship, this is New York's terminology for conservatorship. So it's basically the same thing. We will talk a little bit more about that in a second. Our friends over at Entertainment Tonight are reporting and confirming that Wendy Williams' manager has some hopeful news for fans of the former TV host. ET spoke with Williams' manager, Will Selby, who confirmed that she's currently in a wellness facility. You've heard this before in regards to her going to a wellness facility where she's receiving treatment. He says Wendy is at a facility doing her best to be her best. She's taking it day by day. Selby says of Williams, who had been in and out of health facilities over the past few years. He says, and that's another thing too. Does anybody even ask like how she's doing? Does anyone even care? I feel like everyone just puts out negative information about her and that's the focus. Why don't we just stop for a moment and just say, hey, how is she? Is she doing okay today? Why is that not the focus? Why isn't that what we are talking about on a daily basis? Well, technically, we probably would talk about that if Wendy Williams wasn't promoting a podcast and doing these weird interviews and seeing her randomly in the street talking about things that aren't making sense. That's why people are like concerned. And you have her out filming a show at a public restaurant. And it doesn't seem like wherever there are questions. So he continues. So as you know, Wendy Williams' rep, Sean Zanotti, previously refuted claims that the former host had been hospitalized. In May, The Sun reported that the 58-year-old was hospitalized after checking into a medical facility in New York. The outlet had initially reported, citing a source, that Williams was admitted to a hospital and was released briefly, but went right back in just a day later. Zanotti told ET, I can confirm that Wendy is not in the hospital as reported. I can also confirm she is not in New York as reported. Sharing a reminder of how much Wendy Williams has gone through over the years, the end of her long-running television show, as you know, her battles with Graves' disease and lymphedema, Selby asked for critics and fans to show the beloved TV personality some compassion. And look, You know, in our comment section, that's all I've seen. That's all I've seen. Besides a one or two comments of people that just show negativity, mostly I've seen people just praying for Wendy and hoping that the people that are around her are not just sucking her dry. Selby continues. He says, just understand that she's a human being that's going through a lot. She's dealing with a lot, and support her, please. While her primary focus is her health, Williams is also looking ahead to the future and the next chapter of her life. Selby says this. He says, she's only thinking about the things she wants to do in her life, Selby shares. She's only thinking about Wendy 2.0 and her new chapter of life and the things she wants to accomplish, and that's our focus. And that's where Kevin Hunter Jr. has a problem, because someone that is in the middle of addiction, Kevin Jr. confirmed this, that alcohol, when she has alcohol, it affects her differently. So if we have a person in addiction, the last thing that Wendy needs to do right now, especially because she doesn't have to, is thinking about Wendy 2.0. You can't get to Wendy 2.0 when Wendy 1.0 is not healed. Selby also addressed concerns raised by Williams' son, Kevin Hunter Jr., who gave an interview to the U.S. Sun on Tuesday, in which he shares how he believes his mother's team is taking advantage of her wealth amid her alleged battle with alcoholism, which he said does not allow her to make sound decisions. According to the article, the 22-year-old student was financially supported by his mother, but lost a large part of that support when her financial affairs were taken over by a guardian in May of 2022. So Selby says this in regards to this. He tells ET this. He says, taking advantage of her for what? To get what? To do what? I'm not here to brag, but I was doing just okay before Wendy came along, and I insisted on helping her because she requested my assistance. Breaking down Williams' court-appointed guardianship, Selby asserted that there's no way Williams could be taken advantage of by her team or anyone else for that matter. He says Wendy is under a guardianship. Everything that she does gets approved by the guardianship, a court-appointed guardianship. So no one, even if they wanted to take advantage of her, everything has to get approved by that court. Britney Spears would tell you, Your Honor, that's a lie. Here's the thing, and when I say that's a lie, is that just because someone's under a guardianship, Britney Spears, unfortunately, had to deal with what she had to deal with, but was a perfect example of how someone that has a guardianship over someone, how it can be abused. All right? And we're not going to get into a battle on, what was the guardianship necessary, blah, 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 blah. I was under the impression, and I have to start Googling and schmoogling the court documents, I was under the impression that this was a financial guardianship. So Wendy was pretty much able to do whatever she wanted, which she has been. So I think my impression is correct, that the only thing that Wendy doesn't have control over is her finances. And that's why I was under the impression that she was doing all of these other things to make money, because that particular money that she's making that's outside of Wells Fargo, she can use, which made people believe that the people around her want to get paid, want to make money because they don't have access to the guardianship money. That's just my impression. I'm not saying that's fact. But according to Will Selby, he's saying she's under guardianship. There's nothing that we can do that's not approved by the guardianship. As you know, in this U.S. Sun interview with Kevin Jr., he's accusing the guardian, the financial guardian that's in place, of having a personal relationship with Will Selby. And maybe she allegedly could be getting something on the side. Even when he mentioned it, I was like, I don't know if that's necessarily true, but nothing's impossible. Zanotti, the Wendy Williams rep, echoed a similar sentiment about the interview, adding, the publication has released false narratives with the intent to release stories without fully vetting information, which is a disadvantage to the public and unprofessional and unethical. We ask that the world continues to pray for the well-being of Wendy as she continues to recover from a very traumatic 2 years. And we will continue. And I wanted to give you guys another update because look, only way that we can be fair is telling you both sides of what's happening. According to this new report, they're saying that Wendy is currently in a treatment facility, and I hope and pray that Wendy continues to focus on that part of her life instead of the career that she has already built. There's nothing else that she needs to do right now in regards to that. We will continue to sit and wait and pray patiently for the well-being of Wendy Williams. Guys, as always, I want to know your thoughts on what Will Selby had to say, your thoughts on the video that we did yesterday in regards to Kevin Hunter Jr.'s interview. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. Thanks for watching.
Ooh, you bring the lighter, I got the fuse. You make a fire, I'll ask you. Follow my lead.